Um, Nonetheless, one of the core teachings in this tradition is the realization of emptiness, or the realization of the uh, what's called single taste or one taste, which is this notion that your own awareness at a very subtle, refined level is that of non-duality, that it is not parsing, it is not a parsing perception. It's not a discriminatory dualistic process, but rather it is an experience of just complete and sort of spacious openness of mind. And it's very, very subtle. It's very refined. And cultivating that is something that we practice over and over to let the mind settle, because as long as the mind is directed outwards and directed onto thoughts, thoughts are considered outwards, believe it or not. What's happening in our head is considered an outward directed thought. Um, it's still gross level, it's tangible, it's something we experience in a very real way. Um, Mind you, the experience of it is real. The thought isn't necessarily real. It's almost like having a dream. We're projecting out constantly and responding to things outside of ourselves and reacting to them. And then that feedback loop gives rise to more thoughts and emotions and reactions. And so there's this constant cycle, what we ultimately call the samsaric ordinary mind. Samsara is this state of constant fluctuation and bouncing between pleasure and pain and good and bad and preferences and aversions. It's ultimately the state where we're just always dissatisfied with things. And we may have a moment of peace from that from time to time, but then we cycle back around, right? Things don't stay the same, largely because of the truth of impermanence. And yet, underlying what some Tibetans have called the great crashing waves of samsara that relentlessly are battering the rocks of our own foundations of mind and perception, right? This is actually, Tibetans say this. So if you're experiencing any kind of strife, internal turmoil, you're in really good company. Monks, Tibetan monks, teachers everywhere, we all have to deal with these things. So it's a ubiquitous problem, and in a way, it's not personal, as personal as it feels. Um, and underlying all of this is this quality of mind. This quality, and here, mind is a spacious, kind of bright, open, very clear, subtle, refined, conscious awareness. It's what is known in Buddhism as the Tathagata, 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 and that's if you ever read books on Buddhism, you may come across this term, Tatha, Tata, and then Gata, like Satigata. Only this is Tathagata. I thought Jim and John would get that one. Uh, so underlying all of this, and it becomes such a challenge to let go of that whole process. And yet, Maha Mudra, this tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, is all about uncovering this state, this source of deep, deep well-being and peaceful abiding and quiescence of mind, to the point where awareness is just, it's self-evident. Awareness of awareness, just omnipresent in our experience.